Hi, my name is Sonia Pena, and this is my overview for AEP A80 on family communication. I looked at several districts to get their cultural and diversity policies, and as you can see, there were two districts that didn't have policies, one that never responded, and then I got three policies that you can see listed here on this slide. Interestingly enough, the policies that I did get were all very similar. How were they stated? The policies were stated like a legal document. It kind of looked like they had copied something off of the state website because they talked about that they didn't discriminate against race, religion, gender, etc., and gave the process for reporting if something happened. And then they also talked about having a compliance officer, which I kind of thought was interesting because I'm pretty sure these little tiny districts don't have such a person. How do districts address specific groups? They did it in very general terms. And the policies seem to be very outdated. Some of them were written in the 90s and hadn't been looked at least 5 years. None of them talked about how they address professional development with their staff. And I kind of believe that the school districts that didn't have a policy at all just felt like there wasn't a need for it, or a need hadn't come up yet, and so they hadn't done anything about it. Professional development is critical to the success of all schools, especially dealing with this issue. It benefits students in the realm that they will get higher grades. Teachers that have the background knowledge to deal with students from multiple backgrounds also pass more classes. They have better attendance. They score higher in levels of progress and on assessments, and they have very strong social skills because teachers have been encouraging them. As far as benefits from the staff, it allows for cultural sensitive communication. It increases communication between the family and the school. It engages us with the community to solve issues and problems. And we just get to know our students and their families at a different level so that they know that we respect their needs and vice versa. What causes barriers? Well, bad first impressions. The saying goes that it's really hard to make a second impression after you've made a bad first impression, and that's true. Parents have been burned by schools before, and so they find it difficult to trust them. Past experiences that they've had at school maybe weren't very good. The school's not good at communicating in their own language or translating documents into their own language, and they've seen evidence of discrimination when dealing with the school. So what are some of the strategies that we should be teaching our teachers? First of all, we need to set up a district family engagement team that focuses on equity for all of our students. And we spent a lot of time talking about equity in our previous assignment. Teachers, parents, support staff, the coordinator, community members should all be on this team. We need to come up with core beliefs and a vision statement for our group, and then when we're thinking about how we deal with families, we need to consider what their schedules look like. It might not be the best time of day during school hours to meet with them. We need to think about if we can get transportation for them to come to school, and if we need to provide childcare for them or interpreters in their own language. Technology is a huge asset to dealing with parents in different languages. There are many apps that will help you do this and stay in good communication with all of your families. Class Dojo is one of them that's kind of set up for behavior and a reward system. Seesaw lets kids record their own videos of assignments that they've been working on and then lets parents send back feedback about them. Spotlight, the Remind app, which lets teachers communicate with parents but doesn't take feedback coming back, so parents don't really have to ever know your personal cell phone number. Talking Points is a new app that has just come out, and it gives talking points for families and educators. It translates what you say. It gives tips to parents on how to help their students, and it sets up reminders for teachers as to making timely feedback with the families. And then I also really liked the idea of using your gradebook programs to visit with parents and show them how to get into those. We use PowerSchool at our district, and every parent has the capability of getting into that program to see how their students are doing. Communicating with parents. So here are some of the things that we need to remember to do as teachers, and we need to be reminded of as part of our professional development. Always use good etiquette, whether that means having a smile on your face when you're having a greeting, or greeting them in the way that fits their family the best. Avoid using slang and acronyms. Education is full of acronyms, and most of the time parents are going to have no idea what we're talking about when we use acronyms when we're communicating with them. Remember to speak slowly, to be an active listener, to make sure that you understand what they're trying to communicate to you. Avoid closed questions where they can just answer with a yes or no answer. Be careful with humor, because not all people have the exact same personality that you have and appreciate the same things that you think are funny. And then always be supportive and help them as much as you can. During parent meetings, try your hardest to learn about your students' culture, to figure out how their culture is about body language and roles within the family. We've found in numerous instances that when we call mom at home during the school day, that she's not the one that deals with things at home, and that we need to wait until dad's home and call when dad's home. Document and share your observations of strengths and concerns. Communicate regularly through your website, newsletters, texting, email, Facebook pages, etc. Everybody has cell phones and everybody communicates that way. Share information like you want a doctor sharing with you, which means we don't go to a doctor and appreciate when they talk over our head, and we need to consider that when we're talking to parents about things going on at school. I loved that the articles also gave some ideas to share with parents. So much emphasis has been put on kindergarten readiness, and we need to explain that readiness means that the kids come to school ready to learn, not that they come to school already knowing everything. We need to encourage them to continually play with their kids, to talk to their kids, maybe not have so much screen time. We need to discuss things that they can do during their routine times, like at bedtime, reading to their kids, or at mealtime, having everybody have discussions, and encouraging them to ask open-ended questions of their own kids. We need to have them talk about symbols within the environment, which means what numbers are, what signs say. We need to encourage them to have their kids socialize with other kids, and then show them how to ask their kids to plan activities and then carry out those activities. So maybe getting ready to cook something at home and then letting them be involved in that process. So what does success look like? Success looks like we have a trusted relationship with our families. It means that there's a recognition of class and cultural differences within our school, and we have the ability to embrace partnerships within our community. A strong program would also be extremely welcoming to every single person that enters our school. It would be responsive of the needs of our families, which means if they need things that are outside of the school day, like food assistance on the weekend or coats and gloves for their kids, that we would be willing to do those things. We need a two-way communication, not where we're just giving information to the families, but we're also listening to what they need. And we need to provide family engagement activities. All of the elements and sources that are in this PowerPoint, I have in a separate document that I'll be uploading. as well as my reflection questions. Thank you.